Good evening. Welcome to Sunday Night Live. Welcome aboard at this Sunday evening after the successful test event yesterday at Plough Lane. As you can see, joined by George Jones.
Hello.
And Tom Large. Good evening, guys.
Good evening.
And also, as you can see, joined by Aaron Pressley. Good evening, Aaron.
Good evening.
And a late replacement, but a great replacement. Unfortunately, Luke McCormick wasn't able to attend this evening. But Zaki, Oualah, I hope I got your name right there, second bit.
Well, Zaki Oualah.
Zaki Oualah, sorry, I apologise. How are you, Zaki?
I'm all good, how are you?
I'm good. I have to say, Zaki, your video when you joined the club was the funniest one I've seen for a little while. I love the saying about if you stay in a barber shop long enough, you get a haircut. I was absolutely howling. Yeah, great line, absolutely great line on that. So we're going to do some interviews. So if you want to ask your questions, put them in the chat, and we'll do our best to get them to the players. So obviously a Sunday night routine. What's a normal Sunday night like for you? So Aaron, watching a bit of Netflix or TV, family time. What's it like? What's a normal Sunday evening for you?
Tonight for me, probably watch a bit of Love Island. But yeah, nothing much. Just chilling out. Try and get an early night for training tomorrow. But for me, nothing much on a Sunday. Went for a Sunday roast there. I've got a pub right next to my house, so I just went out, had a nice little Sunday roast, and yeah, that was it really.
So a Love Island fan?
Yeah, Love Island fan, yeah. Loving it.
Zaki?
Loving it at the moment.
Love Island for you as well?
Nah, not for me. Not really into that.
He's into books, isn't he? He's into
Nah, just cooking meals for the week and cleaning up, stuff like that, chilling out, the usual.
Do you get any stick, Aaron, or do the players yet? Do they know yet that you're a Love Island fan?
I'm not sure, but yeah, it's pretty normal, I think. But I'm sure
a lot of the boys like it.
Yeah, I'm sure all the boys will be watching it.
A lot of the boys watch it.
Yeah, but yeah, I've not been getting stick for that, to be honest.
Interesting. George, Love Island fan?
Weirdly enough, I'm not. So, weirdly enough, no, I'm not a Love Island fan. But, I was kind of hoping he'd be saying he gets into stick from that from some of the other boys in the camp. Looks like Robert's got some work to do on TV picks.
Yeah, I think people are into it, so yeah.
I think actually
me a little bit.
I think Luke McCormick actually said that was his favourite TV. Then they've done the quick fire questions. I swear Luke said that that was his favourite TV programme. Which is
it's decent, to be fair.
Interesting.
You should give it a watch. But...
I think I'm too old now. Tom, must be down your street.
It used to be. I've stopped watching it as of recently. A few seasons ago, I was all over it, but yeah, I can appreciate someone who likes it.
So, Zach, you were saying you obviously meal prep and stuff like that. So, is it an early night normally? What's the typical Monday like down at the Wimbledon training ground?
Usually on Monday, we're in early. We're in for around 9. We have a team meeting before we go out and train. And quite often we have gym on a Monday afternoon, like a team gym session. So Monday's just about starting off the week right, I guess. Hard work on a Monday, get back into it after the weekend.
So obviously everyone knows Bezo, absolute fruitcake. Had him on many times here, and I don't know about anyone. I don't know if you saw it. Well, you would have seen that. He was in his element yesterday when he was coming on to Always Fans. Yeah, he definitely goes off the fans and gets that. How did you find that yesterday, Zaki, in terms of the full West End experience at Plough Lane?
Yeah, it was absolutely fantastic. I mean, seeing everyone there. I went to quite a lot of the games from January onwards at Plough Lane, and obviously it was empty. So to see it full, see that stand full, it was really nice to see, and it definitely gives the atmosphere like a massive lift when seeing all the people there. Can't wait for it to be fully full.
It's going to be mad, isn't it? It's going to be absolutely mad. Quick question. I'm going to just start with a question before I let the boys start. But a question from Banham. Banham, you need to get a proper name on there, not a tag. Banham's a big place. But a question for our two footballers: do you happen to play Pro Evolution Soccer or FIFA football video game? Will you look forward to playing as yourself on the game? Aaron?
No, I don't really play it, to be honest. I've got FIFA, but yeah, I sort of play it for like 4 weeks, and then when it comes out, and then I'll stop playing it. But yeah, I don't think I'll buy it this year, to be honest. Maybe I will play with myself, but that's the only reason why. Because yeah, I'm not sure if I was on last year's FIFA, so maybe I'll make it on this year.
Definitely should be on. And Zaki, you'll be on there as well. Are you a FIFA person or a Pro Evolution, or not really?
Yeah, definitely a FIFA. I don't really play it by myself, but if I have a few pals around, we don't mind a little bit of FIFA. Get a little tournament going. So yeah, I'll definitely be getting a new edition.
I think Robbo has to get the players involved, don't they, and do like a little tournament. Obviously, down at the Plough Lane grounds, got a massive screen in the conferencing suite. I know Joe Palmer was talking, wasn't he, George, before about having potentially like esports now and stuff like that. So that could be fun. Seeing, I can imagine Ollie Palmer, Luke McCormick. I reckon even Zach would be. Zana would be absolutely competitive on that. So that would be quite an interesting one to see. I'll hand over to you now, guys.
Fantastic. I think I'll take the first set of questions. Zaki, how has pre-season been for you? You know, training with us this summer.
It's been absolutely brilliant. As most people know, I've been down. This is my 7th season down here, so it's nothing new to me. Bezo's got us bang at it. I mean, every year he gets better and better. He's always developing as a coach as well. So even though I've been training with him 10 years I've known him. So I've trained with him for 10 years. His drills are always evolving. So he's obviously got his old classic that he brings out every now and again, but it's always evolving, always changing. So he's always finding new ways to challenge us.
Yeah, and you know, how do you find the values at the club? You know, Robbo's really put his ethics into play, and I think you can see that around the changing room. Sorry, you know, how much do you agree with that?
Yeah, I mean, it's massive. He's always banging on about being process driven and not results driven. So if you're trusting the process and you're doing the right things, more time than not, the results will be there. So his values are massive, and I think the boys definitely are trying to push to keep them values as much as possible.
Have you seen any other clubs you've been with before?
Not to this extent. I mean, I've worked with a lot of different managers and coaches, and Robbo standard, not just as us as footballers, but as people. He holds us to really high standards. So it's brilliant because it brings out like all the best qualities in us as people as well as players.
Of course, and Aaron, obviously you joined us later in pre-season. Had you been training with Brentford B during that time?
Yeah. So I started off pre-season first couple of weeks. I was training with the B team, and yeah, just sort of waiting on something to happen with this move. And then I think I came in maybe about 10 days ago now, and yeah, just looking to hopefully find my feet and hit the ground running, to be honest.
Yeah, and what is like a typical training day for you when you're training at the ground?
There's been a lot of games recently, so it's been sort of preparing for games. I don't know, the other day we done like small-sided games, that sort of thing. Get the lads going, like technical warm-ups, and yeah, just that sort of thing. Going into games, and then yeah, for the lads who weren't playing, just some runs and that sort of thing. And then maybe gym in the afternoon, if you want to do some upper body or yeah, that sort of thing.
Obviously, we've had quite a few games in the last few days, obviously pre-season. What kind of challenges have those presented?
For me, it's just adapting to a new team, and then coming in sort of, from the season I had last season with the B team and, getting a little chance with the first team. It's just trying to bring that in and, I don't know, just sort of get a rhythm going. Because I feel like when I'm playing games all the time that, that's when I'm sort of at my best, and I can show the fans what I can do. But yeah, I just think it's just getting that out of me. And yeah, it's obviously the first loan move, so it's out of my comfort zone, and I've got to get used to that.
Yeah,
Just a quick question, Tom was going to say, just quickly from Doubletronic. What type of striker does Aaron see himself as? Fox in a box, target man, or an all-rounder?
Yeah, how I was playing last year, I was doing like I was linking it, I was going in behind, and obviously scoring goals for the B team. But yeah, I think I can bring a whole different thing to my game. It's just bringing that out in me, and trying to show it on the pitch. And I think obviously building relationships with the team and the players will help. And I'm sure the longer that it goes on, I'm sure the better and better I'll get.
Yeah, no, and Zaki, with yourself, what are your kind of typical days when you're training?
The goalkeepers have to get in a little bit earlier than the outfield players because we need to get our activation and warm up done before we go out. Beza always gets us out early before the outfield players start. So usually, depending on what the day is, we have different topics. So it might be a handling session, short, sharp feet session, might be a fitness session, speed and power, maybe shots from distance. We do distribution every day. Might be a match prep session or deflections or 1v1s or crosses, steal crosses. So we literally cover all aspects of our game. No 2 days are the same. So I wouldn't say we have like a set routine with our training because we're always changing what we're doing to keep ourselves fresh and making sure all areas of our game are sharp.
Yeah, and I guess that kind of gives you that extra almost excitement to come into training when you know everything's going to be different every day. Kind of keeps you on your toes, I guess, and that must be really important for you as a goalkeeper.
100%, and as I said, Beza's always adapting and changing, so it never gets boring. You're always out there, like seeing a new drill, seeing a new bit of equipment, practicing something different. So it's actually always challenging us, and it's really stimulating as you come in. You're not just going through the same things all the time. And as you guys know, Beto is really enthusiastic and energetic, so that definitely keeps us on our toes. At the same time, he's on us if we're not keeping up to his standards, which we try to do as much as possible. But yeah, to be fair, he's got it bang on. As I said, I've worked with a lot of goalkeeper coaches, and there's not much better than him around, especially at this level.
Yeah, Bezo is definitely a quality to have in our coaching staff, 100%. And looking now to kind of Plough Lane, both of you have now experienced Plough Lane. And, Aaron, how is it for you? Come from Brentford with a new stadium and now at Plough Lane with a new stadium. Not something that many players would experience in their careers. But in all seriousness, what are your impressions of Plough Lane and the test event yesterday?
Yeah, well, that was one of the reasons I came here. Obviously, the gaffer showed me the stadium, took me to the stadium. That was a big selling point, the pitch, playing on that pitch every week, playing in front of the Wimbledon fans. As you seen yesterday, it could be, when it's full, it could be quality. So, yeah, I think that, you can't really get much better at this level. Maybe, I don't know, like you get a bigger stadium like Sunderland, but that feeling in this stadium, it felt good yesterday.
And Zaki, I went to the first initial test match and obviously saw you in goal. How was that for you, kind of getting out on that pitch in front of fans at Plough Lane as well?
Yeah, as I said, just like yesterday, it's just absolutely brilliant, especially after seeing it empty for so long. And also it's been a long journey back to Plough Lane. So there's a real buzz about it. There's a real excitement. Robbo sort of rebranded the whole style of play with the team and the club. So yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I mean, I absolutely loved it.
It's fantastic. I think it's going to be really exciting this season, especially for the fans to return. Get the place bouncing really with the atmosphere.
Yeah, that's down to us as well to obviously give the performances. Yeah.
Just a quick question there. It's quite a fun one. Citizen Smith, what are your predictions for the season, first or second? Zaki?
No, I mean, if we can get our momentum and we can play, there's no reasons why we can't push towards the playoffs and be up and around it. But it's most important that we work hard and we stick together and we stick to the game plan. Results good or bad, because as we said before, it's all a process, and the style of play we have and the tactics we go into with the detail. I honestly, once we click, it will be like towards the end of last season when Robbo come in and it just clicked after a few games. And I think like people might look at the results pre-season, but I think once it clicks with the few new signings we have and stuff like that, I see no reason why we can't be in the top half of the table.
Definitely. Just final one here, typical one here. Double trying, Aaron, do you have a trademark celebration after scoring a goal?
No, just go with my emotion, to be honest. Sometimes a knee slide. I don't know, it'll be different
Be careful
with
that
fans.
pitch.
It might be different with fans because obviously I'm celebrating to no one when I'm scoring goals. So yeah, I'm not sure. I think I just sort of go off emotion. So I might do some crazy stuff, if I score some goals.
And just a quick question to you, Zaki, as well. I just think we've had some nutty goalkeepers in the past. Obviously, Aaron, obviously Bezo. One of my favourites, one of my heroes is Hans Sagers, who played Wimbledon many years ago. He was an absolute. He celebrated a goal just as much as the forward did. Are you? What sort of goalkeeper are you? One that likes to get involved with the crowd, bit of banter, or concentrate on the game?
I mean, in non-league, you're really close to supporters, and where there's less supporters, you can literally hear what everyone was saying. So I think you definitely get more of that in non-league. You get a bit of banter with the supporters and stuff like that. But I think definitely as you go into like these bigger grounds and it's more busy, you can't hear as much what people are saying. You hear more of a noise, and I think it's actually easier to concentrate when there's more people because it's just a blur and you can just focus on the game. When there's less people and you can hear what everything's said, you're going to pick up what people are saying, and sometimes have a little bit of banter with them, but definitely maybe not so much now because, as I said, you don't hear it in the same way as you do when you're playing non-league.
Superb. George, I'll leave it to you.
So, obviously, Aaron, you mentioned you were playing for Brentford B last season. They've got a slightly different developmental model to us in the sense that they play friendly matches rather than a league sort of campaign, playing friendly matches against under 21, under 23 clubs, and then one or two senior sides. How difficult is that, having the variation in intensity between playing a senior team from non-league or the Football League compared to playing under 23 football?
I think it's good, to be honest. I think it gives us the different types of football, to be honest. Before last year, when I signed, like we went abroad, we played, like lower Russian league teams. We play all sorts of teams, so it gives us that experience of playing, different styles. So yeah, coming from, I was at Villa, and coming into the B team, you play men's teams straight away, and it's different. You need to adapt. So I think for like a platform to go on to men's football, I think it's perfect because you get the balance between, the under 23s teams playing a nice football, and then playing the conference teams, the League One, the League Two teams, and then sometimes when you go back to playing the under 23s teams, it seems a lot easier in terms of physically. And that's why I think with the B team last year, we dominated most of the 23s teams we played because we actually got a bit streetwise in terms of how to play the game a bit.
So a large part of that games programme at Brentford was traditionally against international opponents, both home and away. How difficult was it last year adapting, obviously because of COVID? They weren't able to get those foreign teams in, and you weren't able to go and tour overseas, like you said, to places like Russia or to Scandinavia.
Yeah, to be honest, I didn't mind it because I had a decent season. But yeah, obviously the lads would love to go. You know, we went to Paphos the year before, and it's like it's a nice place to go. But yeah, I think last year actually gave us as a team, a good platform to go on, because we played quite a lot of conference teams, quite a lot of teams we might not play if we were touring. For example, like the Tottenhams, we played Chelsea, you know, all these teams, Arsenal's. Yeah, so I think we got a good selection of the English games. I think that's credit to the staff at the B team.
So, Zaki, you obviously have had a very different developmental pathway to Aaron. You've come out, you've done it, you know, a unique way. I don't think any other player has ever trained with a club for 7 years before signing his first proper contract. How do you think that journey shaped you and has sort of built you into the person and player you are now, of going up and doing that, having that unique development pathway?
I mean, I've been really fortunate in the sense of I've had all the professional training from a young lad all the way through the system, and I've managed to have the game time the whole time. So, okay, yes, it's not necessarily at the level of League One, but I've played 350 men's games now. So it's not as if I've come up this whole time and I've trained and I've not really played, because a lot of lads my age who might have been in the system the whole time, maybe signed at a pro club, had a professional contract, they might have not even played 50 games, 100 games by the time they get to my age. So, yeah, great, they've played maybe some more professional games than me, but nowhere near the amount of game time I've had, which puts me in good stead, really, because it's the different experiences you have, the big games, the small games, the pressure games. Mentally, it just gives you that experience. And as I said, being fortunate enough to work at Wimbledon for the last 7 years, especially under Ashley Bays, and all the different managers, you learn a lot, and it keeps you hungry, really, because you see different keepers come and go over the years, and every year you sort of look at it and you think, why not? Why can't I be here? But again, like, luckily I just kept coming in, kept training, and absolutely delighted that Robbo's given me a chance.
So obviously there you mentioned playing men's football from, you know, a young age whilst you were able to train with us. How difficult was that? Obviously, most recently you were at Leatherhead. How difficult was it playing there every week or 2 games a week there and still training with us full time as well? How difficult was that balance?
I wouldn't say it was so much difficult in the sense of I'm really fortunate because at the clubs I've been at, a lot of them knew I was training with AFC Wimbledon, so they wouldn't necessarily expect me to train all of the training sessions with the team because they knew I was getting the training at Wimbledon. So it actually freed up some of my evenings. And then also if I was playing games, like Bezo always treated me as one of his own goalkeepers, so like he would manage me. So if I had a game on a Tuesday night, he wouldn't pepper me on a Monday. He would prep me just like I was a goalkeeper at the club who had a game on a Tuesday night. So I'm just really fortunate. I've been looked after the whole time and sort of managed myself throughout the time as well. So yeah, I've been lucky.
So yeah, you mentioned obviously how well you were looked after, how much Bezo was looking after and giving you the attention in training to make sure you were ready for those games. Last year, I think it'd be fair to say it was stop-start in the non-league calendar due to various issues and COVID. How difficult was that for a player there, and then not knowing what was happening in your league season, but then still coming in and training with us? What was that like as a player playing non-league football? How frustrating was it?
Yeah, I mean, at times it was tough. I think we kept playing until November. So I think I played 12 games last year and then the season got stopped. So you're just sort of training with no chance of playing anywhere or doing anything, which can be tough. Also, the club actually tried to sign me in February, but where I was still registered with Leatherhead, it was outside the window, so I wasn't able to register. So I would have actually signed in February when Sam Walker got injured as cover. But I sort of changed my mindset with it all. I started being grateful instead of bitter. I started looking at it and going, you know what? I'm training every day. I'm still working on my dream. I'm fit. I'm healthy. Some people are just at home, not even doing anything on furlough. and I'm managing to train every day at a professional football club. So look, at the times, it was it was tough at times, but I just kept in my mindset how lucky and fortunate I was to be in the position I was in.
Thank you. Tom?
Yeah, no, and kind of the question for Aaron, first season in the league where points are at stake. You mentioned in an interview with South London Press that, you need the situation where points are on the line, so you can step up into that tough environment. What do you think the Wimbledon fans are going to expect from you on the pitch?
Goals, probably. Yeah, it's different, isn't it? People's jobs are on the line. Me going 1-on-1 in the B team and missing isn't really making a difference, but I don't know, going through and scoring a last minute winner to get the 3 points is completely different. So I think I'm just going to have to adjust to that, and I think that's just normal. As a young player, you need to go in and make the difference, sort of. And I think obviously I've got big boots to fill with Joe Pigott, how many goals he scored last year. Hopefully I can come in and chip in a lot.
Yeah, and kind of looking on from that, have you got any personal goals for yourself that you'd like to achieve this year?
To be honest, for me, last year I never set personal goals. I don't know, sometimes when I set personal goals, I end up thinking too much about the personal goals, and if it will happen for me, it will. If I do the right things, then the goals and how many goals that I want to get, I should achieve that. I don't like to set these goals, but yeah, because it's I don't know, it can change all the time.
Yeah, no, of course. I kind of get to see where you're coming from in that sense, and it kind of, I see, changes in how people see the game and different strikers, and how they see the game. But obviously, I saw you mentioned about the celebration, and you should do something for your first goal, like a 9 to the camera, or like a sheer iconic celebration.
Yeah, you're trying to give me a celebration.
Yeah, like the Chunks and Mason Mount one.
yeah, that one.
Yeah.
I was just going to say very quickly, you were saying about not setting yourself targets. I want to give you a warning very quickly. Ivor Heller, who's one of our directors, does the after. So at Wimbledon we do a man of match, and it's last we were at Kings Meadow, we would be in front of the fans, and all the fans were there. Ivor's normal trick, if you get man of match, is to put you on the spot and ask you how many goals you're going to score. Yeah. So just give you a heads up. Don't let him bully you and give you and do that, because he will keep you to it. I promise you.
Yeah. No, obviously I've got a number that I'd want to score, but I'm not too focused on that, because the way I got success last year was sort of just letting my game happen and the goals coming for me.
You just very quickly, you were saying about filling obviously shoes of Joe Pigott. Is that a motivation for you? It's not. I'm sure it's not a sort of something around your neck, but is that a motivation to sort of see, prove that you can not replace, but you can do your own thing at Wimbledon?
Yeah, 100%. I need to come in and show what I've got for the fans. And how many goals did Joe Pigott score last year? 20. Yeah, 20 goals. So yeah, coming in on my first loan, it's I need to try and achieve that. If I want to play at a good level, I think that's what you've got to aim for.
And a few of those, he was a penalty taker. A few of them were penalties. Are you a penalty taker?
Yeah, that's true. Actually, I think Ollie obviously scored the penalty yesterday. I'm gonna try and get on penalties. I like to practice penalties. That I practice quite a lot at my old club, and watching the best penalty taker I've seen, Ivan Toney. You can take some tips from him. But I think if you take penalties, actually can make a big difference to your goals tally. I'll try get on penalties.
And I have to ask one question. Sorry, George. I think you're next, George. Just very quickly, is Ivan Toney? Does he do the slow walk? Like, because I don't know if you obviously Lyle Taylor used to play for us, and I like quite.
Yeah,
I
I've
like
seen
Lyle.
this walk. Actually.
Would you have the? To be fair, Lyle missed some really dodgy penalties, and he wasn't. I think it'd be safe to say that he did miss some some dodgy penalties, and he somehow found this unbelievably slow walk. Would you ever do that?
No, I don't think so. I tried it actually. I tried it. We were doing like an in-house game in pre-season, and I've tried the slow walk up and the pass like into the corner. But for me, I'm more. I'd do a quicker run up, I think, and similar to Ollie yesterday. That sort of technique. I don't want to give tricks away. But, but yeah, that's that sort of thing.
From a goalkeeper's point of view, Dave, what would you do? You feel a little bit disrespected if someone done a slow walk against you like that, Zaki?
Not particularly. I don't understand all these slow walk ups and like little jolts in the step. I just think put your foot through it, put it somewhere where the keeper can't save it. I think with all these slow walk up and these tricks and these things, although they might look brilliant when they come off, they're savable at the end of the day. If you smash it right in the corner, right in the top corner or the bottom corner, the keeper's never ever saving it. But if you do all these little silly tricks and that, there's always a chance the keeper might save it.
So obviously, can we be expecting you to take any of the pens this season, Zaki, if you're on the pitch when we get one?
I always fancy a penalty, to be fair. I took one in the shootout a couple of seasons ago at Leverhead. I skied it though, so.
Okay, so not in the first five if we get a shootout when you're in a game this season, then.
Yeah, straight over the bar it was. But I do fancy myself on a penalty. I actually scored one in the FA Cup last season in the shootout as well, actually. So, and it wasn't bad. Got a video of it on my phone.
So, obviously, a question up on the screen, Jane Lonsdale. She just wants to know, providing we don't decide it on the pitch by doing rock, paper, scissors, she doesn't care who takes them. So, is that part of the plan then, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm not sure we'll be doing rock, paper, scissors on the pitch, but yeah, I'm sure there'll be a penalty taker before we go out. It won't be everyone's just fighting for the ball. I'm not sure it'll be that. I'm sure there'll be a set penalty taker. Hopefully it's me. We'll see.
Well, Zaki, this is obviously the first pre-season we've had under Robbo. And obviously you're working with a character in Ashley Bays every day. I think a character's a fair way to describe him. What's the mood like in the camp, and what is it like working with Bays every single day?
I mean, I think it's a great mood in the camp. Everyone's really positive and upbeat. No big timers, as to say, in the change room. All the boys are approachable. All the boys get on. As I said earlier, working with Bays every day it's brilliant. We're really lucky and fortunate to have him at the club. It's again, I think I've said before, like there's a lot worse in the Premier League in terms of goalkeeper coaches. I watch a lot of goalkeeper sessions and stuff on YouTube and different stuff that gets posted out there on Twitter, and the stuff we do compared to some of the stuff even the Premier League clubs are doing, it's on another level to some of the stuff we do. And it's no surprise that you look over the years at the goalkeepers at Wimbledon, most of them have performed well or have pushed on to play at a higher level after Wimbledon, just because Bezo keeps us on it so much.
Well, let's hope there's no Premier League clubs watching, so Bezo can keep doing that for another few years.
Exactly.
So now, obviously, a couple of questions just to try and get an understanding of what the mood's like in the camp and trying to understand your teammates. So relatively quick fire. First of all, for you, Zaki, who's the best dresser in the camp at the moment?
Who's the best dresser?
Yeah.
I actually wouldn't be able to say yet.
I've been getting some stick.
Yeah, Aaron's got some dodgy clobber, I have to say.
Yeah.
I, to be honest, we haven't really been out together yet this pre-season. Apart from we went to an inflatable water park last week, actually, all as a team together. That was quite fun. So we haven't actually gone where we're sort of dressing up, and most boys sort of wear something casual or comfy into training. So I think it's a bit early doors to be calling best dressed at the club. Although I'll take the title if no one's claiming it.
I think it's me. I'm sure it's me.
Any comments on that one, Aaron?
I think I'm taking it, to be honest. I'm not sure what the boys think, but yeah, they've been getting on to me every morning when I'm walking in. There's been some comments, but yeah.
So now for you, Aaron, who is the funniest person in the camp?
Funniest person? I don't know. I've only been in 10 days. Woody's funny. Ollie's funny. Big personalities. I'm not sure. I need to get to know the boys a bit more, and then I'll be able to tell you.
Zaki, you got any nominations for this one?
I'd probably have to say Woody. He's always clowning around with banter, but knows when to be serious. He's got a good mix, actually, of when to be serious and when to bring out the banter. Yeah, he's a bit of a joker.
Who gets the most frustrated during training sessions? And you can include coaching staff in this one.
Probably Woody as well. Woody's definitely up there for that. Artie's up there for that. Anthony.
Ben maybe.
Loves a bone.
Yeah, Ben lost his head. That's a little bit in the small sided.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, I don't know who else, to be honest. I couldn't tell you.
Obviously, when you're doing small-sided games, football tennis is obviously a very popular one at the training ground at the moment. Who's the best at that on all of those sort of football technical games?
When it comes to technique, the best technician at the club's got to be Anthony Hartigan. I mean, technically, he is an absolute joke. He's got every club in his bag. Yeah. He's a joke technically.
And now
I've only played with Ant one game, and you've seen it against Woking. Some of his passing, technically looks very good. But we've got quite a lot of technical players at the club, so it's hard to choose.
Well, we've got your positive feedback on some of them. So now, who's the worst at those games?
Worst at those games.
The worst.
Yeah,
it's got to be a centre half.
I've not even done many games. I've only done head tennis once, but I don't know.
I can't think if there's a standout worst player at them games, to be honest.
Yeah, we'll just sit on the fence.
Yeah, not just yet. There hasn't been one just yet.
Well, we'll ask you later in the season again and see if anyone comes to mind.
Yeah, might be a bit more apparent then.
Yeah. Also, obviously, one of the biggest parts of football and a big part of team morale is initiation songs. Have either of you two done yours yet, or are you waiting to do yours at the Doncaster game?
Imagine it'll be Saturday away to Doncaster. I'd imagine there'll be some songs going. So yeah, we're gonna have to be preparing for that, aren't we, Aaron?
Yeah, I'm not looking forward to that, to be honest. But once it's done, isn't it? Like it's better just getting it out of the way.
Have you got any ideas for a song? Yeah, either of you.
I've got a couple in mind actually, but we'll keep it under wraps until the day. I haven't decided. I might change my mind. I might go safe, or I might go for something a little bit more exciting. Who knows?
Yeah, Basil's been giving me. He's desperate for me to do Elvis, so I don't know. I don't know. I might have to do a bit of Elvis, but we'll see. I'm not decided yet. I'm not rehearsing in my flat, to be honest. So.
One of the things that you have to be careful of is Ollie Palmer has a habit of recording them and putting them on Instagram. We saw quite a few last year, and so just keep an eye on Ollie's phone. He does like to make sure he publicises them. Yeah,
my initiation for the first team Brentford was. Yeah, I got taken off after about 20 seconds. So, yeah, I'm not sure how this one's going to go.
How'd you get taken off? Did they just boo you, or
Yeah,
just
I
like?
was just a nervous wreck, like no confidence when I was singing. So Peter, I'm not sure if you know Peter. He's Brentford legend, not legend, but he's been a fan of the club for ages, and he saw it was announcing the players, and he loves it. And he 20 seconds in, he's like, right, that's enough, sit back down, basically. So.
Well, here's a suggestion for you. It's an easy one though. It's the Elvis thing is easy, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? But
Yeah.
I'm sure you've heard the wise men say.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm gonna do. I'm not liking to think about it, to be honest.
And yeah, Aaron, apart from Plough Lane with all the new grounds, what grounds are you kind of looking forward to playing at this season?
I think there's quite a few, to be fair. I was having a look on YouTube, the League One stadiums. But yeah, you've got like, I don't know, Ipswich, Sunderland, I think Portsmouth.
Fratton Park looks like a nice ground.
Yeah, it looks, I don't know, a good atmosphere. You've got loads of good grounds in League One. I think it's probably the strongest League One's been in a long, long time. If you look at the clubs that are in it, Sheffield Wednesday, like some clubs you'd think they should be going for top 6 in Championship, yet alone top 6 in League One. So it'll be a good year for us, I think.
Yeah, and Zaki, what about you? Any stadiums that stand out?
Yeah, definitely Sunderland away. Looks like that's a stadium I always want to go and be on. Yeah, as I said, Ipswich, Bolton, Sheffield Wednesday, Portsmouth. There's plenty in. Apparently, Doncaster's a really nice stadium as well. Some of the boys were saying. All of them, to be honest, beats the Isthmian League. So.
And obviously, you mentioned Bolton. It's going to be the first game at full capacity. How excited are you for that? And it's going to be new to everyone playing again after a year and a half with no fans.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, seeing Plough Lane with that, was it East Stand? Is it the East Stand? The big
West
stand?
Stand.
West Stand. Sorry, yeah, the West Stand full, and then seeing like in the other games, sort of supporters dotted around. It's been good, but to actually see it fully packed out, I think that's going to be a complete different vibe and atmosphere to any of the test events actually so far. So it's really exciting, and I can't wait.
And how have you been getting to games at Plough Lane with the lack of parking? As a team, how do you guys get to games now?
We all drive individually. We've got some parking allocated for us around the corner. It's a little bit of a walk, but I suppose you get to stretch your leg after the journey in, so it's not the end of the world. Yeah,
and Aaron, this is your first league club. Do you have a song or anything that fans can chant for you when you reach the pitch on Plough Lane?
No, I'm not going to be giving myself songs, but I think that's up to you guys. And if I do it on the pitch, if I don't, I'm sure we'll be singing different songs. But yeah, it's up to you guys. I'm not giving myself a song. That's not for me to say.
What about you, Zaki? Have you done any of the previous clubs?
I had one at Leatherhead, but yeah, it was a bit of an odd one because it was Zak at the back, but my name's not Zak, it's Zeki. So a lot of people still call me Zak, but it is at football. I just can't bother to correct everyone, but it is actually pronounced Zeki, even though it's spelled with an A.
George?
Okay, so now changing focus slightly for a lot. Well, we were when we wrote this, we were hoping it'd be a lighter note, but then Italy scored a winner. Looking at the European Championships this summer, Aaron, did you enjoy watching the Europeans?
Yeah, I did actually. Yeah, I liked it. Enjoyed watching the final. It was a good one. No, obviously for Scotland, it was the first time they'd been in a Euros for a long, long time. So I think we were just happy to sort of be in, and anything on top of that would have been a bonus. and yeah, watching England get beat in the final, that was pretty good as well.
I'm assuming you were sat there in your Italian shirt with, Italian food to drink for the evening.
Yeah, pizza, pasta. Yeah, me and my dad were sat on the sofa, sort of loving it a little bit. But yeah, I think every Scotland fan would have been the same. I seen the thing before the game. The Mancini is Braveheart. Have you seen the newspaper?
No, I haven't.
You haven't. Oh, it was like a picture of mine. Yeah. But yeah, no. Enjoyed the Euros. It was very good.
So, Zaki, were you able to watch much of it?
I didn't catch too much of it until the finals. Actually, I just bought my own place, so I've been moving in. So a lot of painting, a lot of decorating, building furniture. I've had quite a busy off season, so I didn't watch that many games. I probably only watched 2 or 3 games of the Euros, including the final. But most of the time, I don't really like watching England. I find it quite boring, actually, international football. I don't know why. Just prefer club football to international football in terms of to watch.
So obviously that nervous penalty shootout at the end, this goes to either of you. If you were on the pitch that time for England, for you, Zaki, or for Italy, I'm assuming for you, Aaron, would you have been stepping up for a penalty?
Yeah, I'd give it a go. I'm never afraid to make a mistake, so I'll take it on the chin if I miss.
I think you've got to. If your striker's bottling it in the final, then it doesn't look great, does it? So I think you've got to, even though you probably don't want to, because you don't want to miss. But when it goes in the net, I'm sure it's worth it.
So now I'll hand over to Stu.
Yeah, so we're gonna wrap up now. We like to do some quick fire questions. So I know when you were signed, you did some with the club. We have a little bit of a different take on it. It is a very quick fire. So the first thing that comes into your head, and I would apologise in advance. These weren't done by me. They were done by Nick, who does a podcast, and he's got a bit of a weird mind. So I would apologise in advance. Zaki, these were meant for Luke, but I still think they're very good for you. So he didn't have enough time to do any new ones. But so first thing that comes into your head, please. Luke Goss or Luke Skywalker?
Luke Skywalker, because I don't know who the other guy is.
Chopsticks, yes or no?
No, not for me.
Kate or Megan?
Kate or Megan? I can't think who's who, so I'll just go with Kate.
That's sitting with me, to be honest.
What is the bigger loss to the high street, Debenhams or Jessops?
I'll go with Debenhams because I don't know what Jessops is, so we'll go with Debenhams.
Toilet paper, hang over or hang under?
Oh, good question. Hang over.
And Love Island, is it just a bit of fun or damning indictment on the continuing cultural and moral decline of society since the sexual revelation of the 1960s?
That's a bit full on. Just a bit of fun we'll go with, I think.
Nick don't like Love Island. Obviously, I don't know if you got the hint there. VAR, yes or no?
No.
And finally, quite an important question is, when making tea, is it milk first or last?
Oh, for tea? It's definitely last for tea, yeah.
Correct.
First for
answer.
coffee.
Correct answer. You're doing well, Zaki, because obviously former goalkeepers, James Shea actually got that question wrong and was absolutely slaughtered by his teammates for that. So you've done well with that in terms of the history of goalkeepers. Thank you. Obviously, Aaron, you're not getting away with it. So you've obviously had a little bit of a preview. I've got different questions, of course, for you. So the first thing that comes into your mind, please. BBC or ITV?
BBC.
Girls Aloud or Little Mix?
Little Mix.
English or maths?
English.
FA Cup replays, yes or no?
No.
Iron your clothes on or dry them in shape?
Don't know. What do you mean? Iron my clothes on?
Yeah, or just let them just go in shape. Just put them on and let them sort of...
Yeah, to be honest, yeah, just put them on.
Of course, Suspicious Minds or Jailhouse Rock?
Suspicious Minds.
Bees or Hornets?
Bees.
And to be able to use your car, would you rather have to fight a chicken every time you wanted to use it, or orangutan once a year?
Fight a chicken, I'm sure.
And given that Aaron...
Let's go in the car.
I told you Nick's got a weird imagination.
Yeah.
And given that Aaron is Elvis's middle name, were you actually named after Elvis, yes or no?
I don't know, to be honest. I actually don't know.
Have you never asked the question?
No, I've not actually. I haven't asked the question. Yeah, I think he's somewhere in the family tree, to be honest. That's what I've been told anyway, but I'm not sure if that's correct. But, yeah.
And finally, the most important question when making tea, milk first or last?
Yeah, it's got to be last, doesn't it?
Superb. Guys, thank you so much for your time today. Really appreciate it. It's been really good laugh as well.
Yeah, it's been great.
And to actually both. Good luck for Doncaster. Good luck with the initiation songs. I'm sure they will go well as they can do, and those sort of things on that side of it. And we'll catch up with you later in the season.
Cool.
Cheers, guys.
Right. Great.
Cheers, guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Cheers. Thank you. Bye-bye.
Bye. Do we just cut it off? Yeah.
Yeah. We're just going to do a quick wrap up. I think I'm going to go through some of these questions, to be fair. So yeah, you're both welcome to leave us, and we'll catch up with you soon.
All right. Good. Thank you.
Nice one.
Thanks,
Take it easy,
Zaki.
guys.
Take care.
See you later.
Cheers.
Peace.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Guys, that was interesting. I don't know where Nick gets these questions from.
I worry
There's some
about him.
interesting questions in there.
I do worry about him. I think we need to get Nick some help at some point this season.
Yeah, we've got some. Joy, we've probably got about 5 minutes before there were some questions early on that I didn't think were fair. Especially Aaron. Any news on a striker? Yeah, I didn't really want Aaron to be selecting his own partner or Oddie Palmer's partner or anyone else's partner. But yeah, Jamie Scorer, what do you think? Well, in terms of there's not been much news, but I suppose do we think we're still missing one, Tom?
I think we do need at least maybe one more just for some depth. I mean, a lot of strikers have gone out on loan, so we are quite light up top, and I think we just need someone of almost like Piggott's level. That's just gonna. Obviously, I can't say I've not seen too much of Aaron just yet. I know his record at youth level is very good, and hopefully Ollie Palmer can kind of stay away from injury this season. Wishing him luck for that, and find himself on the gold book multiple times this season.
We can have a book if you want, Tom. It's not a problem. George,
it's normally just a piece of paper, but we can turn it into a book if he scores enough.
Hopefully,
yeah. But I mean, you're right. You make a good point. We've got a lot of strikers going out on loan. Obviously, we've got Corey Andrews and Aaron Cosgrove, who have gone out on loan to more senior clubs. David Fisher's gone out on loan as well to Hampton and Richmond, where he was last year. Yeah. We assume Zach Robinson's going to be going out on loan as well. So we do need another body in. I would like it to be a pacey option, I think, because obviously you've got the physicality of Palmer. Pressley, even though he said he likes getting in behind, he's 6'3", so we can do the physical stuff. I do think we need just that lightning quick Adi Aziz type player who we can bring on for 20 minutes, half an hour at the end of the games and cause a bit of chaos. So yeah, hopefully we can get another striker in. I don't think we need two strikers to come in. I think that's just going to create problems with ensuring everyone gets enough minutes, but certainly I'd like one more.
And Ballum, Aaron will watch it later today, Love Island. I can't believe that they actually, I was more shocked, Tom, that you don't watch it anymore, like you've grown out of it. And also, I didn't think that was something that the players would admit to watching, but obviously things have changed, haven't they?
Well, I think the one thing what we need to do is definitely get someone in the camp to have strict words with them and explain that watching Love Island isn't acceptable for a professional Wimbledon player. Let's draw that out of them straight away.
Yeah, it's just Yeah. Dove, trying to quickly go through some questions here. When's the weekly podcast coming back? Well, I've just been reminded it starts on Friday. So, yeah, we're back on Friday. Nick's back with that. And I think we're going to do a season preview, which would be interesting this year. I was quite sad the other day. I know George knows this, but Tom, I was like literally, I was woken up early by my son, and I started looking at the website and what signings have been made by all the teams in League One and League Two, as you do. There's been a lot of movement. I think, judging by, I think Ipswich have made the best signings by miles. But there's a lot of movement. Let's put it that way. On that,
A lot of strange movement as well.
Yeah, and also a lot of 1 year deals as well, which I was finding really interesting. A lot of 1 year deals out there. I think if we remember, McLaughlin over at Morecambe's got a 1 year deal, isn't it? I think Morecambe giving out loads of 1 year deals.
Yeah, and I think talking about signings, I know you mentioned Ipswich, but for me, Bolton, they've done some really shrewd business. They've got a lot of free transfers in, bringing in a lot of good, high quality English players who have gone out to Europe. They've brought them back to England on permanent deals. I really think Bolton are the team. I mentioned it on the Ipswich podcast I did last week. Very impressed with Bolton.
Plug.
Someone's got to plug it, even however shamelessly.
It's almost like the fifth season of a Football Manager transfer window. Like all these strange transfers come up, but it's like Charlie White going to Wigan. I think it was Wigan. Such a 25 goals without a penalty contribution is in League One is questions should he be in the Championship, and now he's signing with Wigan. I mean, obviously money talks, but it's just strange.
Well, I think you answered your own. Sorry, Stuart. Very quickly, I think you answered your own question by saying money talks. The fact that he, would have attracted interest from the Championship, the fact that Sunderland presumably wanted to keep him, the fact he's gone to Wigan, gives you an idea on just how much money they're throwing around a year after being nearly bankrupt.
Yeah, it doesn't sit right with me. It doesn't sit right.
No, not at all.
And also, Charlie White was obviously was ours on loan, wasn't he? I thought he was decent. I didn't think he would progress, and it just shows you, doesn't it, sometimes?
Yeah, so the players have different levels of development. Some take a bit longer. Charlie White, a prime example of that.
When we had him, I don't think we had the team around him to maybe compliment him as much as he needs.
Didn't have McGreedy, did we? Just knock the ball in every time.
Exactly.
We didn't have a 30-goal a season, 50 international winger putting balls in the middle for him, no.
I know, it's ridiculous. I tell you one time I did see, and I'm really surprised no one's taken a chance with this, is Zach Clough was let go by Bolton, who was absolutely raved about as a kid. And I think when Bolton had their problems, he was like a cheap deal, like £3 million to Forest from memory. Actually, that might have been who was released to, but I think he went to Mansfield. I'm just amazed that he was talked about being the next proper top England player. And it just shows you, doesn't it? It just shows you can just easily be forgotten. He's gone to Mansfield, which is no one wants to go to Mansfield.
No, and I think it is just that the latest example of that player who was tipped for big things, but then peaked at 18. It's a shame because he was the potential he showed when he was younger was outstanding. And again, when he was released, I kind of half hoped he'd end up with us to see if he could rekindle that potential. But it is what it is for some of these young players.
Sorry, George. I'm just saying, interesting comment by Aaron about technically best player training. Really interesting, actually. I think Andy Hartigan is going to be Marmite this season, which I think is sad. But that's not.
I think he just needs that one performance to give him the confidence. Just that one performance, and I think he'd be really good because he was so good at youth level, and he was so highly spoken about by so many different people. And I think it is just going to be. He gets that one good game, the fans, get behind him, and he'll go on from there.
I think that's the thing. I think the fans need to get behind Anthony. Obviously, he had a Marmite sort of relationship with our fans. Then he went out on loan to Newport. Nobody deserves that, no matter what they've done. So I'm glad I got one laugh. But I think if fans get behind Anthony, we can really see him rekindle that elite performance that we saw from him when he first broke in. Obviously, he didn't have a great midfield partner when he first broke into the team in terms of suiting his style. But now, obviously, with players like Marsh and Woodyard, I think it's going to be a big season for Anthony. And if the fans get behind him, I'm sure we will be back to his best very quickly.
This is quite an apt one. Dub, I love your questions, by the way. Have you guys been approached to model a new third kit launch, or is Nesta doing all that work again? George, I've not heard nothing. I'm absolutely gutted that Matt's not contacted me.
Well, I think they thought we looked too good, Stu. I think that's the problem. They thought we were too good looking, so they wanted Nest. I think they want a player to do it, just because they want something more relatable to the average fan, not us.
More relatable? What are you trying to say, George?
I'm saying we're better looking than Nesta.
Oh well, Nesta's a good-looking boy, anyway, to be fair.
Just as a pointer, my inbox is always open if anyone's listening.
I was going to say, Tom, are you interested in modelling this kit?
If anyone would like me to, I'm more than happy to do so.
See, the thing is, I wouldn't.
For a reasonable fee?
I would get absolutely slaughtered by my mates. They would absolutely.
Oh, so would I.
I would not give them the opportunity to do that. They can do that anyway. It brings it in nicely, though, doesn't it? Because obviously the new kit is launched at Meet the Manager on Thursday night, which I think. Do you know what? I think that's the best way to launch it. And I still remember some of the kits that I actually remember the green grass. I don't know what they call it. You know, the one that the different shades. Yeah, I hated that when it was launched. I remember they took off. We did the greatest kit launches. I don't know if we're going to get any more professional now. We're at Plough Lane, but just a little bit of curtain, just dragged it down. And I remember the reaction. I don't know if you do, George. The reaction was I don't like that, and that was quite a lot of people saying that, and I wouldn't buy it. But actually, do you know what? The funny thing was Bayo Akinfenwa got lime green boots to go with it. He looked like a giant bogey. And actually, I did call that once, and Trev told him, which was scary.
Which is why we've never interviewed Bayo on this channel. If anyone's wondering why he hasn't come on.
I know. But yeah, I think Meet the Manager events are the best way to do it. And we've got Meet the Manager event, Plough Lane, Thursday this week. Get yourself down there. It is going to be also to see one of the biggest TV. Joe Palmer constantly goes on about the biggest TV in that conference room as well. George, you're down there. Tom, are you joining the show down there?
If I'm not working, then yeah, I hope so. If not, I'll have to tune in. I think it's being recorded, isn't it? So I'll have a watch after. But I'd like to come down if I can. Yeah,
George, you're going to be down there, aren't you?
Yeah, I'll be there, of course. I'll probably be there from about midday on Wednesday. So if anyone wants to see me, I'll probably be camping outside the night before to make sure I'm first in.
Yeah, when we were talking about grounds, I didn't want to say to Aaron that you will see George outside the turnstiles as you approach Doncaster.
Oh no, I'll be in the ground well before they turn up. They don't arrive till 1:30.
I didn't want to scare him too much, to be fair on that. But get yourself down to Meet the Manager on Thursday night. I'm not too sure what plans there are. I hope there might be some food there, just because we're all at the game. You at the game yesterday, Tom?
I wasn't, unfortunately.
Oh, okay, you missed out. Trust me, I will go on record of I've been very dubious about the food offering at Plough Lane, and I'm always happy to eat humble pie because, I was way wrong. The food excellent. I had a chicken balti pie. It didn't.
With a Wimbledon logo printed on it.
Yeah, I'm not really about. I knew what I'd ordered.
You knew where you were.
Yeah, it was a nice touch, but to be fair, George, it didn't even touch the sides. Absolutely brilliant. And I will say, it was £2.50 for a bottle of Coke Zero. It was ice cold. Now, people will know that I used to moan at Kings Meadow that they didn't put it in the fridge.
Kings Meadow were always warm.
Always warm. But, I would just say, to the club, excellent. The food was excellent. I thought it was priced well. I probably would have paid more, simply because I thought the quality was better than the price that was offered on that. George, what are your thoughts?
Yeah, I do think. I didn't eat at the ground. I did have a bottle of drink, that came free with the admission.
You just got a freebie, George.
I just took the freebie. I'm all about the freebies. But I think it is important to remember that they were ice cold, and that is something that I was a bit confused about. I can't remember the last time I had a cold drink at a home game. It's probably the first time in my lifetime. But the food, it did look reasonably priced. But it was, and the food was reasonably priced. You look at it, we'll see it on Saturday when we go up to Doncaster. But those prices are not far off what you're paying in a stadium anywhere in the country at the moment. And the fact we're in London doing high quality food at very affordable stadium prices is a great thing. And I've been critical of the food offerings in the past, and massive credit to Joe Palmer and the DTB for absolutely excellent work in that area. And I hope they get the credit they deserve.
Yeah, and you know what? For a test event, I'll be honest, I've said this to many of my friends in the Don't Trust board and stuff like that. I was really worried about us getting 4,000, one in the ground and being able to, pass that test. But everything I saw, I was really impressed with what we saw. Yeah, don't get me wrong, there are a few things that could be changed. But that's just, in my opinion, it's just nitpicking. If I'm being honest with you, I was really impressed by the club of how well it went, and I think they deserve a lot of credit because obviously they did have a bit of a a few people got pinged, as everyone does nowadays, which didn't help them. But I was really impressed, and if we can do that, of course, Tom. The problem is now is that we go to Bolton and we've got to double that. And it's. Do you know what? I looked at that ground and I'm thinking, I don't know what the sound's going to be like, but I just,
I'd bring earplugs.
I remember we for the first test event I went to the proper first one, and a few of us were singing for the first 15 minutes. They allowed it for then before the COVID kind of restrictions had to kick in, and it was just, you walked in and it almost hit you like kind of like in the back of your throat, like everyone standing around singing at Plough Lane at Wimbledon. It was like, Jesus, like we've actually done this. Yeah. I think it's just going to be, if you walk in and everywhere's fully sold out, I think it's just going to be phenomenal. And I think that atmosphere is going to be, I think it'd be really worrying for teams coming to us, that enclosed, tight area, unlike the West Ham Stadium, which is a planet away from the fans. Yeah. I think we're really going to be a tough stadium to come to. And I hope we do anyway, because I want us to win games.
And I should say the noise, we got an understanding of what that was like on Saturday for pretty much the first time. Obviously, when the players came out, when Robbo came out, the applause, but also for the handball shout, which was for some reason not given yesterday. No idea why. But the sound of 4,000 people shouting handball, I can only imagine what that's going to be like when there's 9,000 people in. It's going to be absolutely deafening in there when we have the full house.
It'll be louder.
And I'm really looking forward to it.
Do you know what? George, by the way, you were stalking Robbo again for the second time yesterday, weren't you? How'd that go?
Well, I was a row further back this time. I was in row F behind the home dugout rather than row E, which is where I was for the previous test event.
I know Robbo didn't sit in his... Go on.
I should say to any Met police officers listening, that was just a random allocated seat. I did not deliberately pick that.
That's what they all say.
I did notice that Robbo did get into the middle of the pitch and then he didn't actually sit on his seat for the whole game. I imagine that was obviously... There was a few things that made me laugh yesterday, actually. One was that Scunthorpe team come out and got a round of applause, a big round of applause. Looked totally confused, if like, if you not realised we're Scunthorpe. And I don't know why the fans have done it. If we're going to start doing that, please. I get fed up when we clap how many away fans have turned up. Please,
especially when it's like 15, when it's like a cold Tuesday night and they're from the other side of the country.
When I'm walking, we've just wasted our money by opening that stand. I'm joking. And also Cormac, just talk about fans. Sorry, John, I'll say Cormac, hilarious. I think he'd been drinking. Cormac basically just...
Do you think Cormac had a drink? Is that,
do you know what? My wife loves Cormac, and she was like, he's pissed. So what he basically done, Tom, just because obviously you weren't there, this was hilarious. He was sitting at the back, and he started singing AFC Wimbledon, and then he decided that not enough people were singing it. So he sang it again, and then he decided to go all the way down to the front. And what it reminded me of, right? Have anyone been to like SeaWorld or a place like that, and they normally get like a person in to get the crowd going? Do you know what I mean? Like get them happy and do silly jokes. That was him. Like he was going along trying to get everybody to stand up and sing AFC Wimbledon.
Like Delia Smith at Norwich at half time.
Let's be having it. Do you know what? There was one point though when there was some kids started singing it. It reminded me of Blackburn Rovers many years ago when they as Shearer and Sutton, and every time you turned up with Blackburn Rovers, it was literally like, it was ear piercing. But Cormac was just hilarious. I know he'd been drinking. I think he'd had a few drinks and then a free token as he come in. Do you know what I mean? But yeah, I'm guessing you saw that as well, then, George, judging by your reaction.
Yeah, I think it was hard to miss Cormac on Saturday. But to be fair, your description of what he did, of having a few drinks and trying to get everybody to sing, that could have been any game in the last decade, if we're perfectly honest. I think everybody loves Cormac, and he does enjoy a bit of atmosphere if he's had a few.
Well, there's still a picture, isn't there? When he done the crowd surfing, didn't he? Was it the West Ham game that he done the crowd surfing?
Yes, he was crowd surfing there.
Board member.
Yeah, when he was an active board member, starting crowd surfing. Looking forward to seeing what he's got up his sleeve for Doncaster, because I imagine the first away day in 18 months for him in Donny as well. It's going to be interesting to see if he actually makes it to the ground.
Just a comment on the atmosphere. I think again, I can only comment on the first test event, but when Robbo walked out, everyone was just in absolute awe of him, and I think it shows the respect the fans have for him. And even that was 2,500. Yeah. Imagine 9,000 people all behind Robbo. Yeah. Going to be unreal.
And that was the thing on yesterday when the players were doing their warm Robbo walked out about halfway through their warm-up, just on his own, no one near him, and then most of the ground stood up and started clapping him. And it was just like, really, I think everyone is starting to appreciate, and I think this will again happen after Thursday when more of our fans listen to him. They'll appreciate what we've got here in Mark Robinson. They'll understand how lucky we are to have him at our club, and they'll understand the vision of what he's trying to implement. And I think fans realise and appreciate that we are a lucky club to have him to succeed. And I think it's a really great that we can all pull in one direction now behind Robbo, because that's exactly what we need if we can have a chance of success this season.
Although what I will say, just as we wrap up, is that I
think the way you...
Go on, Tom.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, I think the way he played last year, and making the players play for the badge on the chest, I think it's so important, especially as fans, is what you want to see. The result at the end of the day, obviously, it is vital. But if the players are out there trying the hardest, it makes a defeat slightly less hard that evening. So I think, the way he's kind of making that ethos for the players is fantastic, and hopefully he'll carry on into next season.
Definitely. And what I will say is I agree with you, George, but one thing that reminded me at Woking, went to the Woking game, is how football has returned, because I had people around me moaning, why did I come to this game? I should know what it made me feel like football is back, because that is exactly, we all do it. We all go pre-season. We all go, why do we go? Because we know what's going to happen. And do you know what? I loved it, because it just made me realise that football is back. And I think for me personally, in the game yesterday, I liked it, but I'm done with test events. I'm done with friendlies. I just want to see I think I'm like you guys. I just want to see this ground sold out and a proper game.
Well, in 2 weeks' time, we'll be doing this show, having just come back from Plough Lane with 9,500 people there, including 1,500 away fans.
And hopefully a 9-0 win.
Stop being pessimistic. It'll be double figures.
Oh yeah, sorry.
I do think it's going to be a special occasion, and it's just counting down the days. I mean, people have been waiting the best part of 30 years for this. We're now less than 2 weeks away, and I think everyone's getting quite excited.
Luckily, I've got a shorter wait, so it's only been 19.
Yeah, it's only been 23 for me.
That made me feel old, you lot. Do you know what? The really weirdest thing is that we played Bolton. As our first home game. We played them as our last home game at Kings Meadow in March 2000.
Oh yeah! Oh, what a boring game that was.
It was, and Kwesi could have scored the last goal at Kings Meadow, couldn't he? If that header had gone in. But they've been relegated and promoted since that game. Yeah. It's just.
Yeah. But also, like the first game, when football was suspended on, weirdly enough, Friday the 13th of March last year. The game we were meant to be playing the next day was Doncaster away. So the first game that was postponed is our first game back.
Isn't it weird how football works, isn't it?
Yeah, our first home game was the last home game we played. These are weird coincidences. I don't know whether the EFL designed it that way, but I assume not, because that'd be too competent on their behalf.
So, giving the EFL a lot of credit here.
Yeah. Well, I've spent the last 2 years slagging them off. I thought I'd give them credit for one evening for something they probably haven't done. But it is, I think it is a nice symmetry to it, and I think it's, our goodbye to Kings Meadows, our welcome to Plough Lane, and I think that's something we can add a bit more special occasion to it.
Definitely. So before we go, this is great that we can do that. Prediction for Saturday. I'll let Tom go first.
Ooh. So I'm quite optimistic, and this usually is to my detriment. But I think it'll be a 2-1 win. I just feel like we aren't as solid at the back as we could be just yet. I think we will concede, but I think Palmer and Pressley will find a little partnership early on, and I think it'll be 2-1.
George?
I'm going to say it's a 2-1 win for us. I think we're good going forward. I think it's going to click. I think the tempo and the intensity will come back. Now it's a competitive game. I think Doncaster have a lot of quality. That they might have a former player playing for them if he signs his contract with them this week. So that's a goal for them automatically before we kick off. 2-1 win for us. Long. Yeah.
Sorry, I don't.
Previous record's 30 seconds.
It was typical,
wasn't it? It was typical.
I should say our record, what was it? 23 seconds last season it took us to score. So that we have to beat that. So make sure you're all in ground on time on Saturday.
That's a great shout.
Because we'll be scoring within 20 seconds.
That's a great shout.
Is that why you're getting so early, George? Getting at 1:30 to make sure.
Yeah, you can never be too careful.
Do you know what? I'm going to go for a 1-0 win, and I will. My logic is that Robbo has done pre-season totally different. I know we haven't had great results, but He has done, and it just like he said, like he had a week last time to get a result, and it made me think actually there's going to be a lot of stuff going into it, and the trick is not to peak too early, and I think we will probably go there and win a game. The Bolton game, I can see us losing, and the reason I'm going to say that is because I've seen it when we played our first game against Chipstead, and we got all excited at Kings Meadow, and they turned us over 2-1. So that's my old.
Typical, wasn't it? The first home game back at Plough Lane as well.
They had no fans there. They had no fans there at all. Do you know what I mean? Like, and they beat us 2-1, and the biggest attendance. Well, they said it was 4,700. No,
remember, it was more than that.
Oh, we stopped counting after 5,000. I reckon there was ridiculous amounts of people there. But it's all fun.
I think we were quite lucky. I think we were lucky. Kingston Council weren't paying very close attention to the turnstile operators that day.
Nobody was. Cool. Okay. Well, look. Thank you for joining us. Hope you enjoyed the Aaron and Zaki joining us. And Luke McCormack, like I say, sent his apologies. Something come up that he couldn't. He was looking forward to coming us, but I did say to him what I did say to him earlier is that he probably deserves his own show anyway, because Luke can talk, and he's a great character. So I'm looking forward to speaking to him. So we will get him on. If we can't get him on next week, we will get him on really soon, because I think that would be he's a very engaging character, and will be a lot of fun. So, but thanks to Aaron, thanks to Zaki for joining us. Tom, thanks for joining us tonight.
It's a pleasure being on. Thank you, mate.
George, thank you very much.
Thank you.
And like I say, next event will be Meet a Manager at Plough Lane. Get yourself along. It'll be great to see Robbo, and you might get some food. You might have to pay for it. Of course, you won't get everything free, as George keeps taking. And we will see you on the podcast next Friday.
Hello.
Hello.
Well, it looks like it might actually be working.
Hello, everybody. Welcome to the 9 Years podcast.
Oh, well, no, don't joke with me that we're live. Oh, wow. I'm very sorry, everybody. We were miles away. We were pondering this defeat. I can't talk today. People are just rubbishing it because it's never going to happen. And I'll bet my mortgage, my life, everything I have that Neil Ardley will not go to Notts County.
Interesting. Apparently they've had 18 days of